couldn't have even done that.
Not until at least the,
4 months.
Their
right?
deputies have been here 7, 8
Yeah.
years and they're just making 17, 12.
Yeah,
And they've been here 7, 8 years.
yeah.
It's that going full time, you now get $12,000 a year in benefits.
Yeah.
That's like the raise, I guess, for the first year.
Healthcare benefits.
Yes, and that's worth like $12,000.
Yeah, it should be
And
enough.
benefits.
I see, I
benefits.
see the point, okay, but
Yes.
it's like, then you go to the dispatcher argument, the deputy argument. What is the minimum for the role?
Right.
We haven't addressed that.
Right, and the minimum for a dispatcher now is 19. So you're bringing, they wanna bring her up to the minimum of a dispatcher.
And it's not exactly
I
a
know.
dispatcher.
Yeah.
Well, it's really, the
Communications
role is
officer.
looking, actually, the role is to go look and make sure people's loads are, what's this person doing, I guess?
Yeah.
I'm curious, are there any other boards that determine salaries for people?
Yeah, there's compensation board.
We have a company.
Well, yeah, no, so there's the compensation board,
But
okay,
there's,
but I mean, that's all they do. I mean, are there other boards,
that set salaries.
okay,
Well,
that set salaries?
Just
Mako
refuse.
has produced data. I mean, it's different, it's a different way of answering your question, because remember when we talked to Aaron and Justin, they had the Mako data that said for this role, this is, you know, so maybe that's the fairest way is to look at, that.
And there'll be a range,
But-
because man, there's county ranges out
Yeah.
there. all those roads, man.
There is.
Look,
It's all over the place.
I hear what you're saying with the ranges, but I mean, like, does the board hire a fairgroundskeeper
Yes.
who's full-time and determine the wage?
No, the commissioners.
They would go by what we.
He's been here, the
Okay.
one that works during the summer's been here 8 years and he's only at $18. And he's been here 8 years.
Okay.
Honestly-
So what would you recommend then?
Well, so I guess what I'm looking at here for determination, trying to figure it out, right, is, well, because I was there for the meeting when they decided this, and I guess there wasn't any clear guidance as
There
to
wasn't.
whether or not that board was able to make a determination as to pay. And so, with the county's charter, who has ultimate authority to make decisions to hire, to discharge,
I don't know what wage.
and then to pay, and what people are paid? And, I mean, so we need to have something that's standard throughout the entire county. Okay, right, do you guys really want to be burdened with every time a new person is hired, determining whether or not they're the person hired? You know, you
No,
wanna
but
leave that
I
up to the
think,
department
I
heads.
think what this points out though is, because now I'm thinking about this accountant that we're gonna bring on. That's not gonna be $16 an hour.
No.
No,
No,
You know,
shouldn't be.
it's
So-
gonna be expensive.
So,
Yeah.
what we need to do, it's our decision, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We take advice from a compensation board. We would take the request of the refuse board.
Right.
And then we decide what we think it is, but I have no idea what the wage should be for somebody in this role. Because that's the only way you can justify it, is to say, you know, we can maybe get that data, I can go, for now, I think you gotta stick to what, unless otherwise specified, it's a minimum of 16.
Correct.
And then if
I
we wanna
remember the
otherwise
meeting
specify
about
it,
Yeah.
that too, that,
then we can still give that person a raise.
right.
But we wouldn't have any data to support it, I guess is. It was really easy with Justin, because they had brought the information and said, look, this is what this DES coordinator makes in such and such. The sheriff did the same thing with,
The deputies.
well, but the deputies are kind of based off of his salary. but
We
That's
were
what we
looking at the refuse in a similar manner when it comes to their wages as the hospital or the school, because they get their own, because they're on their own special district. And maybe we went a little too
Separate.
far in not
Separate.
doing the oversight on that, because that's how we left it. But that's how I left it when I talked to them,
Right,
Well, let's kind of,
but then it went a little too far.
let's go off of that, because if we're gonna say that, look, the rule of 16 is a default position, unless the commission says otherwise based on the roll, and you guys felt the roll wasn't 19, but what did you feel the roll was? Or what did you guys think?
I didn't realize it was gonna go to 19.
What were you
I didn't
thinking?
think it was gonna be that. I knew that they were gonna pay her, that is the mother, more than the daughter, because the daughter is only temporary, correct? Or
No.
part-time.
it's, the wife is temporary, the daughter-in-law is,
Oh, the hell, okay, so
Yeah.
I had it backwards.
yeah, backwards.
So it's family.
Yeah, all
Oh,
three of
yeah,
them
they're
are
all three
family.
family.
Oh,
But
That's
nobody
the other
else
problem.
applied for the
It's
position.
dad,
Yeah.
mom, and the daughter.
We
Daughter-in-law.
couldn't find anybody else to do that.
Daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
It's
And
that
that's the
daughter-in-law.
problem.
Which
Yeah,
also
so is
governs paying
Boyd
if
like their
applies
boss,
for
because
it,
then you have
that means
nepotism.
Yes,
Hmm?
yes.
I said if Boyd is their boss, then you've got the nepotism that's.
He's the
you know.
supervisor out
I know,
there.
well,
I know.
we're
It's
trying to
working.
avoid that, look how
Yeah.
long we had it advertised, couldn't get anybody to work there.
Right.
In small counties, you're gonna have nepotism.
Right, yep.
So,
They seem to
I'm-
make it work.
I'm recommending her to stay at $16 an
Okay,
hour
this
just
is what I think.
because.
Maybe she stays
It's 4
stay
months.
for now until
Until
we research
Three
it.
months,
She's been here 4 months.
4 months.
She
yeah.
started at the end of October.
And
And then in July, when
And she's gonna
everybody
get-
gets raises, she
she's
should
gonna
just
get
get that raise.
benefits.
Right, yeah.
Like you
just
said,
like
that's
everybody
what a
else.
raise right there. yeah.
Exactly.
Oh boy, big time.
I
And
think
she's
we're
still
gonna
in her
have to keep
probationary
it.
She
period.
is in her probation
Who would
area.
ever get a raise during the probationary? period?
Nobody.
No, no.
But Ben has pointed out that we need, this is a pretty serious effort. We need a guidance as to what we're setting the rules based on the different departments, what we're paying.
So
Well, this is
if
not
I've
skilled
been,
labor.
if I've been told that the refuse district is a separate,
This
It is an enterprise.
all right, separate, then why are, but they're paid by the county.
Yeah, it's a
So
problem.
we're separate, we make our own rules, but then again, we have to abide by the county wage rule.
Mhm.
The county writes the check, but
Correct.
they don't make the decision. That's what,
Right, right,
But they are a county employee.
correct, county employee, but yet
Actually, Ben, this is
paid
one
by
for
the
you.
county, but we make the rules.
As an enterprise fund, which is the refuse is one of two, the ambulance is the other, does the county have authority over what they pay their people?
What does your resolution creating the enterprise fund say?
Yeah, where is that?
boy, I'll tell you, that thing was very weak.
No,
It says they do whatever they want.
I saw that thing,
Did you?
yeah.
Just discussing.
You had a hard time
wages.
dragging it up.
oh yeah, we couldn't
Yeah.
find anything, no, we couldn't find
But
anything.
when
But
I
they
read
went
it, I
aboard
mean,
and
boy, it
went
was
to
not
the
very,
And so ultimately, that resolution, if
The
it's not
reference.
providing enough guidance, then maybe it needs to be redone to
Yeah,
provide
sometimes it
additional
does.
guidance. Like, the purpose of this board is to make, the following decisions, any decisions exceeding X amount of dollars must be approved by the county commissioners, or any decisions regarding the, the hiring of full-time employees or the pay of full-time employees, needs to be reviewed and approved by the county commissioners.
by the clerk of court, by the treasurer, and by the clerk.
And recorder.
Or
You got that.
Yes.
the pay of any full-time employee is still required to go before, or the compensation board for approval.
Well, I know there's statute that governs like chief deputies in these offices.
Yes,
But
yes,
the
there
commissioners
is.
still have to approve that.
Right.
Mhm.
So,
This isn't a skilled position like our CFO would be,
Oh, no,
Oh,
so that's a
yeah.
difference there.
but they are working in all kinds of, like the highway department and, working in all kinds of weather, dealing with disgruntled people many times, and working.
So do we.
You're welcome to.
Well, but.
You guys are good at it. You guys
You
have
got a
thick
roof
skin.
over your
You
head.
got a roof over your head, you got a wonderfully heated building, they don't.
No.
I have a heater on all the time.
Don't give her any more
In
ammunition.
court yesterday, no, or was that Monday, Tuesday, I wore my winter coat.
You're not out there shoveling trash, you know, dealing with garbage, dealing with people driving up and threatening to kill you if you don't do something right. So, their job
You
is a
haven't
little
done
bit more
elections.
different.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're dealing with.
But they're not
I'm glad
driving
you
up in their
ladies are
car and
doing this.
driving,
You
they're
really
going
do.
right
No,
over.
I get your point.
So
Honestly,
anyways,
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about what does the road department make starting? I think we upped it to 19 something.
Paid.
Oh, I thought it was
That's
22
Yeah, we just recently,
or
we so it varies
Yeah.
by department.
Yes.
Yeah, well, they have to have like CDLs and stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
more skilled, yeah, skilled more
Uh-huh.
skilled labor.
It's like the state jobs, they're supposed to have all these college degrees and all this.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy, high school
And that,
degrees,
you know, and then they
crazy.
start it more.
Well, I think until we can, well, first we need to determine our authority limit to set the wage for them. And then, once it is, I think we need to look at what others in other counties are making in that role. And, ultimately decide what we wanna, but I think,
I think you need to dial it back from $3, but if we do this, even give her any raise, we're gonna have to give Barb's workers a
Exactly.
raise too, and we should do that.
Well, and that, you know, that's kind of what started all this years ago, was departments all coming in complaining that their people weren't making what this department was making, and
Yeah.
that's where that 16, well, it was 15.
Yeah.
It was 12.
It goes up
I think it
eventually.
was
That was way down to
12.35.
Yeah.
12,
And
yeah.
then I think it
Yeah.
went to 15, and then
Right.
now, then there was a big meeting,
Yeah.
and then it went to 16. But that's
Yeah.
what started all this, you know,
we've been
years
trying
back.
to, by department,
Yeah.
set things
Right,
right,
right.
so that at least we're somewhat competitive. We may not be on the high end, but
Right.
we don't wanna
Right.
be at the very bottom, and I don't know how you guys stack up. I really don't.
Yeah. But that is where that,
16.
Number
yeah.
came in.
But
There's
I
other
think
departments
that
that are-
nobody, I don't care if you're on probation, as long as you're on probation, you should never get a raise.
No.
Ever.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Just
No.
for
Goodness
now,
sakes, no.
Be different,
No.
she's been there at least.
But I think they took her off, didn't they?
They
take her off?
can't, she's on probation.
No,
I
she's,
thought
she's
so.
off.
I think that according to our policy, it's for a year.
It is a
Because
year,
that's what that was another issue that we were talking about.
yeah, it's a year.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
this
think you could just
policy-
take someone off probation.
I wish
Not if it's in
Terry
the
Frost was
policy.
Yeah.
here, well, we just had
I
lunch
thought it
with
was
her.
6
That's
I wish he was here to hear what you guys
Nice
had
to
to
meet
say.
you.
I don't know if they are.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
odd.
cause I thought it was 6 months. but-
And it got moved to a
Well,
year.
it was, we moved everything to a year
Yeah.
because the road department wanted a year.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
thought, well, hell, let's
And
have
Darcy
it.
went-
Yeah.
Yeah, and Darcy's been fighting for a year.
A year is actually good. 'cause
It is,
We get
it
people
is.
coming in and then they,
Yes,
I know, I had a
They
spell
stay.
where
yeah,
they were coming in and quitting and then I'd have to find someone else. so-
Yeah, well, and the thing about it is, if you have a part-time person, 6 months
Right.
isn't enough time
Right.
It's
for
not.
them to
It's
understand
not.
the role and for you to
It's
know
not.
if they're gonna work out, it's just
Yeah.
not enough time.
No.
yeah.
Email Terry.
Hmm?
I said, I'm gonna email Terry and say, guess what, Terry? We
Yeah,
got a
that's
problem.
what Terry, you're good.
Yeah,
Well, but on his behalf, I have to say that I did not give him the background information that he probably should have had.
Yeah, we didn't have any guidelines, we're just like, oh, okay, that's a good idea.
Right. And it does sound like a good idea, really.
We had no guideline.
yeah,
Yeah, all new employees shall be given a 12-month probationary period except department heads.
yeah.
This new employee was eligible for benefits after 1 month of employment.
And she
During the
was.
probation period, the employee can dismiss for any reason.
And going full-time, she just received $12,000 worth of benefits,
Right. Which is a nice raise.
which is a wonderful raise,
Yeah.
yeah.
especially when you get sick.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people don't look at that, though, they just see that paycheck.
yeah, they
This
do,
is how much
Of
I'm making.
they do.
They don't realize
You
that
can't
until they get to a
You
certain
can't
age,
spend that.
right?
And that's like in my interviews, I
Yeah.
try to make sure that people understand, you know, this is the starting wage, but you get these benefits. You know, the commissioners actually pay your, premium
For
for
your
the,
future.
for the
Yes,
basic. you know,
yes.
After a month.
And the,
Yes.
so,
I think you're gonna have to go back to 16 and wait it out a year.
I think so, that's my suggestion.
I think so
Is that
too.
you guys too?
Yes.
when did you put into policy for the year? Has that been a while?
We haven't,
It
We
hasn't
haven't signed off on
officially
it yet.
signed off
Oh.
yet.
this is a
Well,
brand
that
new
could be a
one.
whole
I think
ballgame
it
then
should
if
be
she
a
was-
year.
Would that matter then if she was hired before that was signed?
Yeah, it would.
It's still
Yeah.
six, but it's still 6 months.
But in all
It's
fairness,
our policy.
Yeah,
yeah, in all fairness, I think that's the right thing to do right now.
Yeah.
Unless we can get the data we need to justify that this role is gonna start at X amount of dollars, like we did with the dispatch, like we did with
And then
the,
come July, we'll be looking at raises for everybody.
yes, and then she would get that raise.
Yeah,
yeah,
and that isn't very far away.
No,
I know we pay Republic's representative to be the caretaker at the refuge site, $8,000
I
a
know,
month.
I know.
wow,
Mhm.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where do you apply? No.
That's
part of
just
their
a
contract.
little bit less than what I make. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Teresa's here for her meeting, okay, so that
that's it
was,
for now.
that was our suggestion.
And I think until we can,
Yeah, we'll figure,
We can-
I'll do a search.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, you
Okay.
can tell them that we're looking at raises here at the end of the fiscal year
Correct,
for
in
everybody.
July, yeah,
Or cuts, we don't know.
cuts. Yes, all right, thank
As
you.
elected officials, you can explain that to your
Thank
employees.
you, wake up, thank you for the info.
Oh, I'm listening.
Okay, oh, you back again?
I'm back again.
Like a bad penny.
I know. You can't get rid of me.
But we can't afford pennies anymore, so.
Well, hopefully it's heads up.
I got
About
a stock
3
line.
cents to make a penny, and they're trying to figure out whether they're gonna keep pennies. You know, Canada got rid of pennies, because they're just too much, well, who the hell uses pennies anyway?
I don't know that Canada got rid of pennies, cause they have got one heck of a, they've got a sales tax or
Oh,
they've got a tax and you have to have a penny in order to make that thing come out.
No, I was up there, it's all nickels,
it's all
Was it?
nickels.
yeah, no pennies.
No.
I heard it
Yeah.
takes 3 cents to make a penny.
But it takes like 20 cents.
Well, every
for
one of
nickel.
our,
Yeah,
every
that's
one of
right.
our,
That's what now?
So what the hell?
all of our cash
Well,
costs
they're
more
gonna
to
get rid
make
of
than
all,
it does.
they're gonna get rid of all coins. You can see
Well,
it.
it's gonna go all digital, and we're all gonna be screwed, cause I don't have a
That's
cell phone.
right. They can give it and take it away.
You're gonna have a
That's right,
social
they can
score and whether or
Flip
not
off
you
your
get paid.
switch and you'll have no money at all.
You know,
Think about
the
it.
problem with getting rid of pennies is it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. So you get rid of pennies,
Yeah.
and so that means that everything instead of going up 3 cents, it's gonna go up 5 cents,
Right,
which means it will create 2% inflation on everything.
that's right.
That's right.
And it adds up.
Because, you know, it doesn't seem like much, yeah, when you're spending $1.
It's true.
But when you're paying interest or you're spending, you know, $100,000 on a new home,
400,000.
I wonder what they're gonna do when they, you know,
I
cause
will.
everything costs $2.99, $20.99,
I'll tell you what,
$39.99.
I'll tell you what my pet peeve is, that damn 0.9% at the filling station. What an idiotic thing, who in the hell thought they figured that out in the 30s, it looked good. But it's ridiculous.
It's
it'll
irritating,
just be
just
$3
round it up.
now. Or 5.
Personally, I like that.
You dig up that.
You like the
I like the
2.99 instead of the 3?
It makes me think I'm saving a whole dollar.
I think that's the point, Bob.
I didn't say it's very smart. Makes me feel good about
I
it.
always say that and
People with
say,
like a .2998,
Yeah.
you know, we really up that competition in the marketplace.
Well, it used to, remember when
That
they
would
used
make
to
me feel
have
better.
1995, and we used to have 1998.
Yep,
That
yep.
was back 30 years ago, and then they,
I remember that.
then by golly, they got rid of that. Or, you know, in the marketing way, they did.
There was
that's
a
think-
guy in the commodity business that realized he was having lots of money, so he wrote in the program that everything less than a penny would go into his account.
I
He
don't know.
made millions. Till they caught him.
Yeah.
Because who's gonna, you know, that for fraction of a cent, what the hell? It adds up. Well, where were we?
Well, before we start on weird stuff, so I did email Scott Graham, like I mentioned I would last week as a volunteer. And I copied, well, it was really, I emailed Tanya and said, where are we with the Roundup Reach thing?
Yeah.
And Scott said, I'm still working on the cost and task order for DEQ. Been a bit in a slog, they're super busy. I believe they're gonna have a different manager. So he's gonna connect me with the section supervisor, who's gonna assign the manager for the project. He said with the changes in our federal leadership, they're also maybe, they may be up against, funding issues.
Of course.
And they're not alone, because it may be Brownsfield, but he said, he said, I'll send your email if you want me to, and I said yes, to this, section supervisor of DEQ. And then he also said for me to reach out to Jason Sealer at DEQ, which I'll do for our project, for Weir.
Yeah.
Because, I did email, after I left you this morning, I copied you guys, but I emailed, Tanya and Tetra Tech, or, Roger Herman, and just said, hey, when we do the kickoff meeting, can we please put these things on the agenda that we discussed this morning? So that's done. Did you guys happen to get the resolutions passed this morning? So I can get a copy from,
It was 2-1.
it was 2-1? Did y'all have
Bob didn't like it.
Did you have to fight over it?
No.
Yeah,
It was ugly.
a
I
couple of
watched.
them we didn't approve, we didn't think we got
He
enough
tabled
money from
them.
the cold war.
You'll
They
have
had
to
to
come
rush
back
them.
at 3.
They had to wrestle
You
a
may
little.
very well.
These guys can get pretty violent when they want something.
I bet.
Had to hit him on the head with his gavel.
So who has those, Cheryl?
Cheryl should have them, and,
Yeah.
thank you for putting those together, I got them coded and they're done,
Oh, good.
and now we're on record.
Okay, good. Yeah, that took a little longer than I thought, just because of all the details, but I think it's best to have that kind of detail in there, so thank you guys for being so diligent. So we did that. Let's see, the press release, I didn't know, and I apologize, Norma, that I needed to send it to her personally. I sent it to the paper on Monday, and then I just happened to follow up with her, because I didn't hear back from her, and I was like, wonder if she's just not getting the email. So Norma's doing, what she informed me of that I didn't know, is you're doing this as a citizen, just as public information. So it did go to all the newspapers. So
So
it
you're
went
not
out.
getting paid, you're not working for Ponte? Or not
Oh, I'm
Ponte?
getting paid,
Nobody's
but I'm
working for
a
Lowe's.
private contractor, I'm not a,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
You don't represent the paper.
I do.
She does, as a private contractor.
Well, she represents the
Right, I
press,
represent
not the Roundup record.
Roundup record, I do.
For them.
So we just email you at your personal
My
email then?
personal email.
Okay,
Oh, there you go, okay, very good.
I don't have an office at the paper.
okay.
The paper actually does not have a real office, so.
They don't.
They're not in the blue building anymore? Oh,
That's where I used to pick up all my signs for elections.
Well, there's the office next to the vacant place, next to where the,
yeah, that building.
no, it's vacant, she wants to sublet it, and it's just not cost efficient.
So mine doesn't need to leave their flyers there. That's where they had me sending it.
No, you can send them there. What I mean is, the building is not used, she does everything on the computer from her.
Okay.
So the building is only used to bundle the papers, get them ready to mail, open them, and just, that's the only way.
Okay.
That building's used.
Okay, so that got done. I told y'all we had the walkthrough this morning, and I think we're gonna get 2 good bids. One of the contractors, he just emailed me, he's having trouble, like, giving a bid for the pre-construction, cause there's no quantities associated with what's gonna be replaced. So he's gonna formally submit questions to High Plains, yes.
That's good.
And I was like, perfect, that'll strengthen our project, thank you for doing that, cause he's actually, I can tell he's trying to bid the project so that he's gonna be fair to the county.
So in concept though, the pre-construction phase is to shore and level per those drawings, and then also logistics of, you know, I guess setting up the site or whatever. What else was in pre-construction?
Clearing out that southwest corner enough that it can be, like the destructive assessment can be done. You know, like getting rid of that dirt pile so they can actually access those 2 columns that are sinking, getting rid of all the things that are in the way so they can find
Okay.
how deep the footer is and if it's in good shape. They already know, I mean, when things dried out, things really changed. It was good, because now they know what they're gonna have to replace, because it sort of shrunk and made it more apparent. So, and then, really clean up. So, you know, they may end up cleaning up part of that southwest corner instead of coordinating with the hazmat part. You know, it all depends. Like, they're gonna get rid of the dirt,
Yeah.
and if the hazmat people say, you know, those shelves are clean, we can't remove the shelves, then we may have to have our contractor remove the shelves. So basically prep the work area, get it stable, and then help work as a team with the engineer, structural engineer, and the architect to create a construction design, you know, like say.
Right, so the actually, what it's saying is in the pre-construction phase, you, Mr. Contractor, is gonna have to figure out how you're gonna stabilize this. So that's not an issue of quantities, you know, it's when you actually get into repairing it is where you start dealing with quantities.
Good point.
And so, the first part is really basically means and methods. You guys, it's up to you how you get it stabilized, but you're gonna stabilize it and get it ready to then do this repair per these drawings, and then we're gonna incrementally approach it, and then, unless they're bidding on the repair itself based on the drawings, I can't remember.
They're gonna bid on the repair at the end of the pre-construction phase. And if their budget is not in the county's, if we don't
Okay,
say, give them the thumbs up, then we get to go
Okay.
out to bid again.
so their pre-construction phase does not include repairing the structure, it just shoring it up and getting it leveled to prepare.
Yeah, and gathering the data and doing the.
So maybe that's the answer he'll get back, is there's really no quantities other than the drawings, and you know, we're not gonna say put a floor jack here and a floor jack there. That's gonna, however they're gonna do it, is up to them.
The good thing that he came at it, I was really impressed with John Monarch this morning. Like, he brought his level, or his, you know, those digital, measuring tapes that they have.
Yeah,
And he measured the basement, how much needed to be shored, and then he measured the first floor, how much needed to be shored. And then when he got to the second floor, Emery pointed out, this is something I don't think even the architects caught, is that it's 40 by 60 that needs to be shored on the second floor. Which means, therefore, you have to shore the first floor and basement, because you can't shore the second floor without shoring
yeah.
The base, yeah.
the base. So he said, so really, we're not shoring 40 by 40.